Okay, as we enter a whole new trading week over here in India, let's take a look at how the US markets fared last week and over the weekend, and how Asia is currently performing ahead of us this morning. Now, the US markets had a very rough week last week. If you remember, the S&P was down over 2.5%, marking its worst fall since June. It's also the first time the S&P has declined for 2 straight weeks. That's 2 consecutive weeks since May. So definitely some pressure. We also saw the Nasdaq crack heavily last week, although it did recover a little bit. Now, currently, the futures are indicating that the week is going to start off on a very good note. The Dow is up over 200 points and has been ranging between 160 points and 210 points up all night long. The Nasdaq futures also are currently up over 1%. And the Dow futures I already spoke about. The S&P futures are currently up also 0.6%. So across the board, futures showing you that there could be a positive uptick for the US markets this week. Now, a clear trigger for the US markets is Nvidia buying out the UK chipmaker ARM Holdings, which is a chip designer in the UK owned by Softbank. They're going to be paying Softbank $40 billion for this, and that's actually got Softbank shares buzzing in Asia this morning. And this deal will be financed through a mix of cash and common stock, so no debt, and that's another thing that the market might like. And let's remember, these semiconductors and chip makers have been in focus ever since the onset of the pandemic. So US markets looking poised currently based on futures activity for very good opening to the week. Nasdaq over 1% higher, S&P over 0.6% higher, and Dow futures currently up 200 points. Now, coming down to Asia, they are all up in early trade. Softbank Group is really leading the charge here following the transaction that we just spoke about. The Nikkei is up 0.56%, the Topix is up 0.7%, the Kospi in Korea is up 0.8%, Australia's S&P is up 0.7% nearly. However, the only blip here, shares of Macquarie Group are down 3% currently. So Asia looking quite upbeat this morning. Let's look at how Europe closed on Friday. So what we can expect today, they were actually up 0.1%. Basic resources did really well. They were up 2.5%. Banks, however, not so good, fell 1.6%. UK European Union negotiations are on right now. The EU has urged the UK to abandon its plan to renege on the Brexit withdrawal agreement and has threatened legal action. So that's something that's got those markets in focus as well. 2 commodity checks. Oil prices actually edged higher on Friday. They firmed a bit. However, they still closed the week out in negative territory. This was the second weekly drop for crude. People expect this to continue because COVID-19 cases are back with a vengeance. Brent crude on Friday, though, regained some lost ground, but still negative for the week. Friday's move was 16 cents higher, or 0.4% higher, just above $40. And then US crude 3 cents higher, barely anything, at $37.33 per barrel. And however, for the week, both of these declined 6%. Finally, gold also slipped on Friday. Spot gold fell nearly 1% to $1,940 per ounce, as they had gained over the previous week. And then gold futures were also down nearly 1% at around $1,948 per ounce. So those are cues you need to look out for while getting into trade this week.